shattered dreams and
Hello, friends. This is Sam Chaney reporting for Weaponized News. Today's April 23rd, 2025. What are we on here? Tuesday? Wednesday. It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday edition of Weaponized News. See a few people joining the broadcast there. Thank you guys for tuning in. We have a special co-host on the line with us, so I'm not going to be too long with the intros here. Adam Ruckus from Alternate, make sure I get this right, alternatecurrentradio.com, and many other media ventures out there on the interwebs. And so we're pleasured to have him joining us today to go over the news. What shall we get to first? Let me just give you a little bit of introduction. The big news, well, they destroyed, X is destroyed. I know I keep bitching about it, but maybe I can fix it. I don't know. But X has destroyed the news feed feature that was once so prominent on Weaponized News. They've destroyed it. So that's not good. It's making me work a lot harder to gather up the news here, but maybe I can dial something in. Anyway, I don't know. Are we supposed, can we use AI? I've been using the hell out of AI. I don't know. I guess we're not supposed to use it. According to anti-technocracy purist, I don't know. Am I contributing to the problem, to our own, probably contributing to our own demise through Skynet and the rest of these, the scientific dictatorship, technocracy? I guess I am. I don't know, but trying to leverage technology, to make us more efficient and to get us the latest, greatest breaking information. So anyway, maybe I'm bad. I'm a bad human contributing to our own demise here. I don't know. I still got to sort this out. I saw people talking about it. I was like, I got to sort this out. What's going on here? Okay, so the Pope is laid to rest. Was it going to be like 3 days? I think they're going to, you can go see him if you want to see the dead body of the Pope. And they're floating the idea of this black man. They say he's an anti-woke cardinal from Africa. And I don't know. I don't know about the guy. I'm not even Catholic, but I do know that they have a giant influence. And I don't even know how many Catholics there are in the world, a billion, something. There's a lot of freaking Catholics, let me tell you. So anyway, this is very significant. Who's going to be the new Pope? What's going on with that? Try to sort some of that out. What else? Trump signed a lot of executive orders a couple hours ago at the White House. We'll go over some of that. Are they going to replace teachers with AI? He signed an executive order. It didn't specifically say that, but hey, we're well on our way here. AI training for school children so we can all take part in our own demise. The big news out of the White House, like we don't have a million other more important things, but Trump has commissioned a 100-foot tall American flag at the White House. So, yeah, wrap yourself in the flag as you continue the never-ending war on terror, I guess. Everybody I don't disagree with is a terrorist. Everybody I disagree with is a terrorist. It used to be everybody I disagrees with is Putin. Or before that, it was Hitler. Now it's a terrorist. So we get our right-wing flavor of tyranny now. Isn't that wonderful, MAGA? Good news to report. My rantings here at the beginning sparks the mind. It looks like we may have had a convert from MAGA. We woke them up, maybe, possibly. Got a comment yesterday from yesterday's show on the Rumble after the show. Somebody commented, they said, I voted for Trump, but I can't believe he's supporting this genocidal maniac, i.e. Bibi. He said, I'm done with this BS. So, hey, I guess one mind at a time is all we can hope for here. It's all we could ever hope for. So that's good news in my mind. We're having some positive impact out there. What else? What else? There's this crazy story that I saw a little bit. I watched a little bit of it. We got economic news, of course, but then there's this crazy story by Catherine Heritage. She used to be a big CBS News reporter lady that would always do like national security type stories. Anyway, I'm sure everybody knows who she is. Anyway, she has a big report about directed energy weapons. So pretty mainstream, I would say. It's safe to talk about. She says top U.S. I think we'll play the whole report. It's like 17 minutes. I think it's worth it, though, because this stuff does exist. Not everything that happens is a direct energy weapon, but it does exist. Top U.S. neuroscientist and military advisor confirms reports are credible that directed energy weapons have happened on U.S. soil and targeted U.S. personnel abroad. I do truly believe that the powers that be, the theys, have targeted, the government has targeted American citizens, innocent American citizens, with direct energy weapons. I do believe that is true. Here's more confirmation from this report, big report about it. But again, not everything that happens is a direct energy weapon. I believe that all these fires are simple as arson, man. We got Trump's 7-point peace plan. It's not. Yesterday I was reporting that via the Financial Times that Putin's ready. Well, he said Putin's ready. Putin said he's ready for the peace deal to annex Crimea. Zelensky is not he's not negotiating well with the United States and Russia. So we're going to go over that. Trump has introduced a 7-point peace plan. We need peace there. Stop killing people. That would be nice. And then we got the Aardvark news. As always, the genocide continues. There was a 6.2 magnitude earthquake in Turkey today, Istanbul. I'm not seeing any reports. I didn't really look that hard about the death count there, but there are images of collapsed buildings. So, there's not. They had quite a few aftershocks. So we'll go over that a little bit. Aardvark, the terrorist shark that killed the Aardvark. Yeah, it turns out sharks know something. Sharks know something. He was a long-serving IDF soldier, it appears. They found his body. And so now the war on terror is going to include Hamas sharks, it appears. I guess they have lasers. I don't know. But they're now on the terror watch list, sharks. So it's quite horrific. Looks like a big attack by Iran or by aardvarks on Iran, which a lot of signs were pointing to the buildup. It was building up arms, equipment, U.S. aircraft carriers right there, like 2 of them. Everything was building up, but it looks like it hasn't happened yet. Let's pray that doesn't happen. Got a little bit of reporting about that. And then I don't know, it's a toss-up between Smotrich, Bibi, and Ben Gvir. Who's the biggest psychopath? It's tough with these guys, because they're all vying for top spot in hell. But lucky for us, Ben Gvir has come to America to spread his evil around here. So we got We got that to report. Aren't we lucky? Okay, let me get to this day in history. I've already been going on too long, leaving Ruckus on the line here hanging. Quickly now, we didn't have that much on this day of April 23rd. Going back to the year 1516, a very important development in world history. German beer purity law was passed in 1516. And the law said that all beer brewed in Bavaria was only allowed to have 3 ingredients: water, barley, and hops, keeping the beer in Germany pure. In 1635, the oldest public institution, Boston Latin School, was founded. 1635, that's a long time ago. As we're losing faith in all of our public institutions today, by design, might I say. In 1861, Robert E. Lee is named commander of Virginia's Confederate forces for the Civil War. In 1891, aardvarks are expelled from Moscow, Russia. Don't you worry, aardvark fans, because they would get their revenge, 20 some odd years later with the Bolshevik Revolution, or maybe almost 30 years later. But don't you worry, they took care of those dirty Russians. In 1992, McDonald's opens its first restaurant in China. In 2003, Beijing, China, closes all schools for 2 weeks. Where have we heard that before? Oh, this was in 2003. Closes all school for 2 weeks because of the SARS virus. And in 2005, let me read it because I didn't feel like writing it down on my notes here. So I will just read it to you. 2005, we had the first YouTube video uploaded. Isn't that interesting? The details around it. Co-founder Jawed Karim uploaded the first video to YouTube. This is before Google Alphabet bought it, right? And it was actually awesome. The first video uploaded to YouTube in 2005 was titled "Me at the Zoo." And it was literally the dude, the co-founder at the zoo, which is a home video of him at the zoo, showing him in front of 2 elephants at the San Diego Zoo. It has over 311 million views. So that was way before all the censorship and shenanigans of social engineering that Alphabet is engaged in today on YouTube. Shout out to YouTube. We 100% hate Putin. Okay. And with that, we're going to do a segue here to bring Ruckus on. I thought we would play this psychotic woman. She's resurfaced, the former head of the Ministry of Truth that was short-lived, but there's something seriously wrong with this woman. What's her name? Nina Jankowicz. Anyway, she's on a mission. I guess her mission in life is to shut people up, to censor. Quite evil and despicable, honestly. A pure tyrant here. She's now made an appearance because it didn't work out so well, allegedly, here in America. Well, at least she got exposed and fired. But now she's in the European Parliament lecturing about this is a quote from her, and we'll play the video. Well, let's just play the video. Lecturing about Russian influence campaigns on the interwebs, and everyone must be censored. Well, hey, lady, we 100% hate Putin here. Isn't that good enough for you? Apparently not. She wants to be the police woman of the internet. Quite, and just never-ending lies. How she should be arrested, honestly. Violating civil rights, on and on it goes. Shutting down businesses. She has a stream of crimes behind her. Arrest her, Justice Department. Pam Bondi or friggin' Kash Patel, the FBI. Arrest this psycho. Here's the segue, and then we'll bring Ruckus on.
feeding them harmful and hateful content. Their executives, some of the richest men in the world, have aligned and ingratiated themselves with some Western leaders, including the US president, not for the good of representative democracy, but for their personal enrichment. Anti-democratic regimes in Russia, China, Iran, and elsewhere are taking advantage of this environment, launching interference campaigns that aim to undermine the democratic process with little pushback. And homegrown anti-democratic forces have launched a coordinated campaign to undermine researchers, journalists, advocates, and civil servants who work to expose their lies. The confluence of these forces has hobbled some democracies' responses to the strategic threat that we are here to discuss today, Russian hybrid threats. Just last week, in the United States, Secretary of State Marco Rubio gleefully announced he was obliterating the office tasked with tracking and responding to foreign information manipulation and interference. Many other U.S. government institutions have been similarly dismantled in the months since President Trump took office, all under the guise of protecting free speech and allegedly, quote, ending censorship. Now, the European Union has become the subject of the Trump administration and tech executives' ire, as it dares to implement the legislation that you, its duly elected representatives, drafted, debated, and passed on behalf of your constituents. The United States has now become the largest lobbyist for these multi-billion-dollar corporations and is harassing any nation or body that aims to conduct oversight or require transparency of them. Neither Washington nor the social media platforms it has captured are interested in preserving democracy. They are interested in maintaining their power and hoarding profits. And so, before I describe the details of Russia's recent online influence campaigns, I would like to call upon you to stand firm against another autocracy, the United States of America. The Trump administration is undoubtedly preparing a pressure campaign to force EU institutions to roll back regulation like the DSA, to end support for Ukraine, to stop holding Russia to account. Do not capitulate. Hold the line. Doing so is the clearest signal the European Union could send to Russia and other adversaries that it will not stop fighting to preserve democracy at home and around the world. The Russian Federation, of course, is thrilled to witness division within and between democracies. Moscow continues to actively exploit deepening fissures in our societies in order to amplify discord and polarization.
Ruckus, how you doing on this Wednesday? Isn't she a
Wow, I don't know, man. I'm a little concerned for my health now after all of this, Sam, and I have you to blame. Wow, that lady, I tell you what, wow, my heart is racing, and not because I'm in love or anything. It's not doing my heart any good because you already have me going with this whole terrorist thing because I'm human and I'm American and I'm scared of terrorists. But you may not know this, but longtime followers of Old Ruckus know this. I am an unapologetic, true to the gills. I am definitely afraid of sharks. I am a galeophobe. So you got my heart racing. I'm a little concerned now that I might be visited by the Grim Reaper, aka JD Vance, before it's my time. But I hope not. But yeah, you got to be careful of visits from that guy because every time he's on a tour somewhere, bad things happen. But luckily, he's nowhere near us currently, Sam. So thanks for having me on the show this evening. All kidding aside.
Welcome. Yeah, she's talking bad about the United States. It's all Russia, anything for democracy. Arrest her. Like, dude, arrest that woman.
She should have like no job opportunity other than offering like singing lessons to the neighborhood kids, you know. And then even then, that's iffy to me. But I don't know. She is a decent singer.
She's a complete maniac too. So I know you like those crazy women. Okay. Thousands from around the world wait hours to visit coffin of Pope Francis. Should we be going there? I don't know. I'm not even Catholic, but they're lined up to see the dead guy there that JD Vance killed, allegedly. Now I don't really believe JD Vance killed him, but here's an image from that. quite striking. It is beautiful inside there. St. Peter's Basilica there, like priceless, right? I always wondered about the Catholic Church. They care how many 1.4 billion Catholics. That's a lot of Catholics, man. And I just wonder, with all their untold riches, why don't they like help the poor more? Maybe that would be Christian of them. I don't know. You know what I mean? But there he is. There he is with the old head of Italy they're looking on. But there he is, the dead Pope. Are we going to get this guy? What do you think of this guy? Is it racist to have a black Pope?
I thought we had a black pope.
No, like real, like not all the black Pope, white Pope, gray Pope, all this kind of different stuff that people talk about. The Jesuit Pope, but like a literal black man. That's the Pope. They say he's conservative, and so I guess it's okay to be racist against him. I don't know how that works, but
Look at how that article describes him. His
Anti-woke.
descriptor, anti-woke. I've noticed this trend lately. Everything is anti this, anti that. We're going hard against the anti-Semitic people. We're going hard against the anti-Christian rhetoric in America. Everyone's latched onto this like nobody wants to stand for anything. They're not pro anything anymore. They're all anti this, I'm anti-Trump. I'm anti-Elon Musk. It's pretty wild.
But are we allowed to be racist against him because he's anti-woke? I think so, right?
Well, I'm not, because I'm anti-racist.
So this guy is the front runner, apparently. Cardinal Robert Sarah, maybe the front runner. The odds, he's I don't know. Maybe
What the heck? I'll vote for him. Wait, do you vote for the Pope? How does that work?
They do this thing. All the bishops, I think, got to meet up about it, and they do a conclave. And I forget. We played a report from the AP where they went over the exact details, but it's pretty much like a bishop meeting, and they vote on who's going to.
And then, like, they sacrifice a bird and burn it in the white smoke or something. I forget how it works.
Something like that. I think it's paper, but yeah, close enough. Or a child, whatever's laying around, they will sacrifice. So we have that to look forward to. Here is aforementioned Pope killer J.D. Vance with his family there. He's making a whirlwind tour in India. Here he is in front of the Taj Mahal. Let's see this video. No one died that I know of near him, but
you didn't hear the news?
No.
Last one.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Good job.
Can we hear you? Can you put your hands down? It's okay. You just look ahead. It's okay. Come here.
I
All right.
can't even open my eyes.
You can. You just. Oh, I know, buddy. It's hard. Just do it for a few seconds. All right. 1, 2, 3.
Who else died that he shook the hand
He
of?
was doing that tour in India, and sure enough, like while he was there or right after he left, or I don't know, but there was a terrorist attack and like 24 people got shot and killed.
Yeah. We reported on that yesterday. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So you think he armed the terrorists? Yeah, wouldn't doubt it. Thanks a lot, J.D. Vance.
I think he's just a walking calamity, my dude. It's like bad luck. If you have a scheduled meeting with him, I would cancel it. Just saying.
Well, he is a top technocracy guy put in there by Peter Thiel. So maybe the universe is pushing back a little bit on, but he does enough to himself, right? With the black eyeliner. Who told him that it would be a cool thing to put black eyeliner on, like you're a goth teenager or something? Dude, you're literally vice president. Before that, senator, and you're wearing black eyeliner around. It's just very off-putting.
Considering what some senators wear these days, it's not so bad.
I guess compared to Fetterman, right? Okay. As we've been reporting, AI is taking over. Well, here's one of Trump's executive orders. Let's play a video of it. Trump just signed an executive order to promote AI training for school children. Let's watch this. So I guess there will be no escape here.
This next executive order relates to artificial intelligence education, sir. You've obviously done a lot in the artificial intelligence space already. The basic idea of this executive order is to ensure that we properly train the workforce of the future by ensuring that school children, young Americans are adequately trained in AI tools so that they can be competitive in the economy years from now into the future as AI becomes a bigger and bigger deal.
That's a big deal because AI is where it seems to be at. We have literally trillions of dollars being invested in AI. And somebody today, a very smart person, said that AI is the way to the future. I don't know if that's right or not, but certainly very smart people are investing in it heavily.
Exciting, right?
He doesn't know, but very smart people are investing in it, so it's good enough for everybody. Let's make it an executive order and force it on the kids. Why not? It worked during the last crisis, right? Wow. Did you notice? I mean, he doesn't read the executive orders. He has someone else read it for him. Is the president illiterate? Can he read?
I forgot to mention today is World Book Day. It's
see.
Books are a conspiracy theory. So,
I've been celebrating all week. I just finished my 3rd book in like 9 days. Yeah, true story.
That's horrific. I can't believe you're reading.
I know. You should report me.
You may be reported to the thought police soon. I'm trying to find Barry's screenshot. Oh, here it is. Barry, watching Weaponized News, grabbed a screenshot, and he's claiming that that the Pope and J.D. Vance did a 2nd-degree Freemason handshake. That's here's the. Let me throw that on the screen for our audience. Barry caught this. It's kind of hard to see there, but let me try to blow it up a little bit. But it does look rather peculiar the way he is grabbing his hand there. I don't know. Barry's claiming that. I don't know.
I'll investigate further, but true story, if I'm not mistaken, any handshake is based off of secret societies. They were the ones that invented that, probably popularized by the Freemasons. That was not like I don't think that was a normal everyday person's thing until it kind of seeped out into the mainstream. Might want to fact check me on that, but I think I'm right.
Remember they wanted to ban shaking hands because of the bat disease? They said, remember that?
I'm for that. I was like, yeah, elbows, baby. Yeah, elbow.
Elbows and
high elbow. Yeah, to the face. Oh, sorry.
It's also being reported to me in the chat that Simon made it on the old Galloway show today. So I'm going to have to find that, and we'll play that somewhere through the show. Anyway, we'll find that for you and play that for our audience here. I think Bob pointed it out. It looks like, I hope you're doing better, Bob. I know you were saying that you were having some health issues, and I hope that you're doing better. You're well enough to be on at least tuning into Weaponized News. So, hey, things are looking up. Okay, the next one, Trump signed a bunch of executive orders. A bunch is about schools today. We just played the AI one. I'm not going to play them all because the same thing. They read it, and Trump signs it, and he doesn't read it, but somebody reads it to him, and he signs it.
They could slip him a Mickey. They could fake out the president. They could be like, this one's like, we're going to lock up all American citizens behind bars in Guantanamo Bay. But they'll say, sir, this one's to give free ice cream to all the kids. Oh, it's a big one. So he just signs it.
Here's your confession for all the Epstein hangouts that you did.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So Trump signs executive order on school discipline policies. Maybe we will play this one. Revokes flawed Obama-Biden era guidance that pressured schools to impose discipline based on racial equality and gives teachers the ability to ensure that students order in their classrooms. Do you remember the paddle? Like that was going out right when I was like, I want to say elementary school, but they still did have the paddle. I don't think I ever got the paddle, but they had it there. It was like hanging on the wall for like intimidation purposes. Did they have the paddle? Can you remember when you were in like elementary school?
Oh, no way. They did.
No?
No, they did not. But my mother had a wooden spoon, and I guarantee I was more afraid of that wooden spoon than any would-be paddle. That's for sure.
Let's play this about the revoking of the racial equality discipline-based orders under the Obama-Biden regime.
Next, sir, we have an executive order on school discipline policies. Under, I believe it was the Biden administration, first Obama and then Biden, the Department of Justice issued guidance that made it almost impossible for schools to enforce adequate disciplinary policies. This created issues in the classroom for teachers and students alike. Basically, they focused on CRT and sort of diversity ideology instead of actually just enforcing the rules in classrooms to ensure a safe learning environment. This executive order revokes that prior guidance and puts us back in a place where hopefully the Department of Education can focus on education and teachers can focus on teaching in a safe environment.
And this was important for you, Linda, as I understand it.
Yeah, absolutely, because it gives teachers the authority now to have discipline in their classroom and discipline the person who is being disruptive. We took that away.
Okay.
Psych, you just signed your own trip to Guantanamo, Trump. No, what they call it? They call it restorative justice, and it is racial. It is. They say, well, due to systemic racism, this black kid over here could do a bunch of could be bad because he's black, you know. And he says, and he's oppressed, and so, but you, whitey, you're not allowed to be having that same type of behavior, and so I think everyone should be treated equally here. Now,
That's right. Now it's tasers for everybody.
You may just get everybody can get droned.
What is the discipline going to entail? I shudder to think. But yeah, I wouldn't piss off the teachers anymore, students. I would be a good little boy and girl if I were you, or unicorn, however you identify. Sorry, kitty cats, whatever.
Yeah. Executive order to modernize American workforce programs to prepare citizens for high-paying skilled trade jobs. This may be a good thing too. I don't think Trump understands. Maybe he does. I don't know. If they ever do really get this AI all cranking, like it's at its infant phase right now, it's going to replace so many freaking jobs. We're going to have a massive depression in this country because you're going to have data centers run by robots and then freaking AI run by robots, and literally hardly any jobs left at all if they ever get this thing truly cranking, how they say they can. Anyway, here's we do need high-paying skilled jobs outside of college degrees, many of which are worthless at this point in time. But let's see this executive order.
We have an executive order on workforce development. This executive order is going to charge numerous departments and agencies within the government to reshape the way that we do workforce development. One example from the executive order, for instance, we're looking to get the total number of apprenticeships, new apprenticeships, up to 1 million in the country to ensure that in critical jobs areas, in areas where we currently don't have enough trained workers, that we're recreating that pipeline to ensure that, particularly as we onshore industrial jobs and new industries, that those industries have the workforce they need to be competitive globally.
Okay. Very important.
And this is the EO that we're all here working together.
And in a way, this is like a training center, right, for what we're trying to do, which is jobs and great salaries. These are great salaries, too.
That's exactly. So all those factories that you're bringing in because of your trade policy, we're going to train people in trade craft, bring back trade craft to America so that people can work in these factories with great paying jobs, and we're going to train them, and we're going to remake the American dream for all these people. We're working together.
Right, Lori? Absolutely. This plays right in.
Lutnick is so full of shit that it doesn't jive with AI. If everything's automated and you got freaking robots, it doesn't jive what they're saying here.
Sure, he talked about training. He didn't mean that they were going to train the workers. He meant that the workers are going to train the AI to replace them. See how that works? A lot of training going on, like we're pets or something, like bad dog. You need to get trained. I hate that word.
Fair enough. Yeah, Lutnick's handler, it's pretty clear. Yeah, what do you even say? MAGA, he's a former Soros guy. So should love it, I guess.
He's heavily invested in all of these solutions that he's a big proponent of. How convenient. And I'm sure there's no conflict of interest whatsoever. Yeah, right.
Indeed, he is heavily invested. And Trump knows a lot of billionaires, he said, that are making big money off of anytime he opens his mouth and moves the market about tariffs or anything, really. If the president says that the markets get scared, they get spooked, and he can swing the stock markets by saying words. And just think if he had that conversation a few hours before about what he was going to talk about at his press conference with some of his billionaire buddies, you think they may go in there and make some moves in the stock market? I don't know. Just saying.
Meanwhile, the little guys are trying everything they can to try to like decode the code words from his Truth Social post. He capitalized all tweet lock, the caps lock, and he said something about a Big Mac that he had on the airplane. Quick, make a meme coin called Big Mac on a plane.
The internet riddlers will never die.
Gotta do something to make money, because we don't get the inside info.
True. What else did he sign? He signed a couple more. I think those were the most significant ones that I saw. So we'll continue here. We're putting a beautiful, almost 100-foot tall American flag on this side and another one on the other side, top of the line, paid for by Trump. And so they're scoping out on the White House grounds today. There's video, I won't bore you of that, of their surveying the grounds, but here's an image of Trump looking where they're going to put the flagpole for the giant 100-foot tall American flag there at the White House, 2 of them actually. And so that's very exciting.
No, that's a Masonic ceremony. They're laying the cornerstone like George Washington did. I'm just kidding.
There's probably some ceremony, ritual going on with all the stuff they do. I wouldn't doubt it. Pentagon Geek Squad resigns en masse after rival DOGE nerds streamline them into obsolescence. And so I guess no more
That's
Pentagon.
Quite a headline.
Yeah, that's out of the Daily Caller. We'll put that up there. But still, we're not cutting nearly enough government here. The mass resignation will effectively shut down it's 14 people. The 14 people Defense Digital Service, DDS, which was created in 2015 to inject Silicon Valley-style speed and innovation into national security projects. So they've all quit now in protest of DOGE. And the Pentagon still can't pass an audit.
See, AI is going to fix all of these problems.
AI is coming to save us, I guess. The DDS, occasionally called the Pentagon SWAT team of nerds. Well, very sad that we lost 14 of them. That's really downsizing the government. I know you're going to be sad about this, Ruckus, as am I. Senator Dick Durbin has announced he will not seek re-election. Senator out of Illinois. He's 80 years old. He's only been in the government for the past 40 years. It's a 6th term in the U.S. Senate. God forbid that this 80-year-old finally retires, but it looks like he's going
Sickening. Sickening that he can't pull up his straps and finish up a 7th term and freeze down the stairs and crack open his skull like all the other greats.
All the other greats. You have to literally die in your seat.
He's a quitter.
You have to die, vote for some tyrannical law on your last day, and die.
I hate to be his constituents. To be like, this guy's useless. He had us going.
So no more Dick Durbin. He will not seek re-election. It's very sad indeed. Maybe he saw, old J.D. Vance creeping around the Senate building. He's like, I'm out.
Better safe than sorry.
Better safe than sorry. Trump. Okay, this is to me. Am I getting too woke? Because this stuff's seeming kind of racist to me. The thumbnail. I don't know. Maybe I'm woke now, but this seems kind of racist to me. I don't know. Here's the thumbnail right from the White House of the thumbnail of the show. Deported, U.S. border, MS-13, ICE, and then off to El Salvador. I don't know. It just feels racist to me. I don't know. Maybe the woke is wearing off on me here, Ruckus.
Did they really do that? They made that as the Studio Ghibli style cartoon meme that's popular right now with ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Shocking. Yeah, the marketing and the branding are top notch these days.
It's
they'll do another one too. Watch, they'll make one where it's like one of the action figures like we've seen.
It's quite striking. This is official White House X account. You know what I mean? And they're putting this out. Like, I don't know. And then that segues to Trump talking about Trump says degrading. He says it was degrading to the Indian population for the Washington Redskins and Cleveland Indians to change their names. Let's watch this clip. I kind of agree with him here on that because I did see some Indians, that American Indians with the feather, that say they said I think they wrote a letter. And they said they were fine with it and thought it honored their heritage. But, of course, the woke lefties, we had to do away with it. And there's no more Washington Redskins or Cleveland Indians football and baseball teams. I don't even know what the Cleveland Indians are called. I'll have to look that up. But the Washington Redskins, now Washington Commanders, I think it is. Dumb name. Anyway, let's hear Trump talk about that. With on the back of that, look kind of quasi-racist meme they put out there from the White House.
I think when the Indian population is a great part of this country, a great heritage, and we were talking about Massapequa, Long Island, the Chiefs, they call themselves the Chiefs. Well, the Kansas City Chiefs, they're not changing their name. A great team, great people, great owners, great coach and quarterback. I love the quarterback. Like his girlfriend too. His wife. His wife is great. She's been a big fan. His quarterback's mother is incredible. I like that team. They're called the Chiefs, and frankly, I see nothing wrong with it. They call them the Warriors, and not that team, but a lot of other teams, and all of these Indian surnames and different names. And I'm saying that I think that's a positive thing. And when you go back to Indians, they poll this. They don't know why these names are being taken off. They're trying to. I think it's degrading to the Indian population, and it's a great population, and they like when they're called by various names. Now, Washington, the Redskins, perhaps that's a little bit different, but I can tell you that I spoke to people of Indian heritage that love that name and they love that team, and I think it's I think it's a superior name to what they have right now, and it had heritage behind it. It had something special. But a lot of the names having to do with, different places, not just Indians, but I think they changed the name of the Cleveland Indians. Why would you take the name Indians off the Cleveland Indians? And now it's called the Cleveland something else. Guardians. Right? Guardians. It just doesn't make sense to me. So we're about bringing common sense back to this.
Cleveland Guardians. Yeah, thank you, Barry. They're doing it here too, renaming. There's a place over here right up the road for me in the foothills called Squaw Valley, And it can't, I forget even what the new name is, but it can't be named Squaw Valley because that's offensive to Indians. They claim, the state claims, I've never seen an Indian protest about it. It's just these white woke liberals that seem to be offended by it. Is there any places in your area with, quote, American Indian names that they're getting rid of that you know of?
Well, I used to live most of my life in New Mexico, and I don't remember anything being an issue there. Everything's got very, Hispanic, Mexican, and Native American sounding names everywhere. I mean, English is the odd man out. But here in Texas, everything is just so Texas Americana. I don't think there's anything out here that's not named with USA or Texas in the name. It's crazy. True story.
So everybody in New Mexico was triggered all the time by all the Indian names of stuff. Yeah. It's like literally no one.
Well, okay. Well, you had this weird phenomenon out in Santa Fe, New Mexico, which was the state capital. Tourism was a big deal out there, and there were real Native Americans, Indians, whatever you want to call them, that would sit down cross-legged on like blankets and make beaded jewelry and turquoise and sell it down there. They would be squat down on the ground on the sidewalk selling their wares and doing stuff. But that's all for show because they're normal people, and when they're done, they put on their normal suits and ties and go to their normal homes and their cars, and they're just putting on a show for the tourists. It's pretty wild.
Hey, you got to leverage what you got. So I guess we're still waiting on the mass deportations. What's the number I heard? I forget even who was saying it. I think maybe it was J.D. Vance, some government was saying it. They cited 15 million came in under the Biden administration. I believe it's even more than that. But they say New York Post says Trump's mass deportation raids result in 655% spike in arrests of terrorists roaming the United States, including one of India's most wanted men. But like that should be easy. That's like low hanging fruit. If there's a high profile, and this is India from the dot, not the feather, the East Indians, right? Anyway, you would think this guy would, if you're a most wanted in India criminal, that's like not who, like we need that guy deported, but it's all these other 15, 20, 30 million that they're just not getting the job done here. Here's the guy, alleged most wanted in India. They caught him in New York. Or no, they caught him in Sacramento. Well, hell, he should be let go because Sacramento is a sanctuary state. ICE agents nabbed suspected Indian terrorist Harpreet Singh last week in Sacramento. Wow, surprised they got him there. You see many.
What is it that he did that he's considered such a criminal and such a terrorist in his country? Because I'm thinking about it. If the shoe or the turban, in this case, is on the other foot or head, then like what if like I was in a foreign land and they wanted to say, "Oh, I would want a terrorist because of my podcast." Does that make me a dangerous person? No.
It says he's alleged terrorist. Yeah, you come on Weaponized News and you're going to be a thought criminal at the very least. He allegedly entered the United States illegally in 2022, and it doesn't say. It just says he's a terrorist. So yeah, they could just say, "Hey, you're a terrorist. You're a shark. You're a shark," and so that's good enough for me. One of the most wanted men in India, the New York Post says, for providing terrorist funds, recruitment, and planning of a grenade attack on an Indian police station and on a retired Punjab's cop's house with the intent to kill and instill fear among law enforcement officers, according to the Department of Homeland Security. So I guess that's what his terrorism-related crimes were.
He was going to take out a police station with nothing but grenades. The dude is either stupid or a badass.
Recruitment and planning of a grenade attack. So, yeah.
Weird.
They got him. And look, they do these high-profile guys, And it's like, okay, you got him. Maybe he's a terrorist. Who freaking knows? You're calling sharks terrorists now, but we're not getting the big mass deportations as promised. That's the biggest Trump promise that has not come to fruition here yet. Are you seeing a lot of illegal aliens in your area?
No, I don't get out much, so I don't think so. I can check the living room real quick if you want. It should be all right.
I saw it was announced on the X that they were raiding Home Depot parking lots because these illegal aliens will go there for day labor in the morning, and construction companies will go by and pick them up for a day's worth of work when they need some day labor. And that's been going on a long time. And it's not just illegal aliens, it's whoever is in the construction trade and looking for a day job. And that's where you go congregate. And anyway, they've been raiding them. I've been seeing that going on.
Don't worry, Sam. All the day laborers will be replaced by robots soon.
Soon enough, right? Okay. On to the economy. Paul Atkins has officially been sworn in as the chairman of the U.S. Security and Exchange Commission. This guy right here. I never heard of him, but here he is. And he's going to do something. He's going to have something to do with crypto, for sure. So here he is being sworn in. We have a new SEC chairman right there, Mr. Paul Atkins.
Yeah, he's pro-crypto. Anybody would have been better than Gary Gensler. That guy was terrible.
He was playing a lot of games. Okay, Senator Rand Paul tells us, happy waste report Wednesday. America's paid $892 billion in this fiscal year of 2024. We're still in, our government is, in 2024 fiscal year. That's their accounting year. On the interest on Uncle Sam's credit card. So we've paid, that's where your tax money that you pay on your individual income tax goes to. It goes to pay interest on the debt. And so here's a nice little meme that Rand Paul put out to remind us about these economic facts. There we go. Yeah. Don't balance the budget, pay interest, borrow trillions, pay interest. Yeah. And even with all of Trump's cuts, alleged cuts in the government, they're really not as big as they hyped them up to be. And the cost savings, according to Elon Musk, are only $150 billion. Trump wants to add more to the budget and put us even more in debt. And so it's like all for naught, honestly, because Trump is, he's not a budget hawk, let's just say. And he's pretty spin crazy. And the last idea that somebody that halfway sparked in his orange head, he goes with it. And he's like, yeah, let's go ahead and throw $1 billion at that project, whatever the hell it was. You know what I mean? So, oh, man. The national debt is out of control, crazy. And it doesn't look like Congress or the executive branch really are too concerned about it. Okay, can we trust this joker? This guy says a lot of stuff, right? The new Treasury Secretary, Bassett. He says, and it's good sounding rhetoric for Main Street, me and you. Let's hear what he says about it. Short clip here. I don't trust him.
In the U.S., we've had this incredible boom on Wall Street. I think Wall Street can continue doing well. But I think it's Main Street's turn to share in the prosperity. And I think it was the pullback by the small banks, the post the GFC, that's kind of created this stagnation on Main Street. And we're determined to fix that.
He cares about Main Street, Ruckus.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I don't know about all that. They say a lot of things. They're like, "Oh, we're going to make America. Well, we're bringing back common sense. We need to make this more religion. We got to stop the anti-Semitism. We're going to Mars. What is it? What's the focus here? I'm so confused." You know?
Karen says we love being in debt. It's the American way. Yeah,
I was
true.
thinking about that. Our monetary system is debt. We are a debt-based economy. So I'm like, isn't this a good thing? Again, I'm not an economist, nor a biologist. So I'm just so many questions, Sam.
Here's more from Trump. This is one of these things. He says we have a very great place. It's called the United States of America, and it's being ripped off. This is his reasoning behind the trade war, essentially. Let's hear him. Let's hear from Trump now about it.
Mr. President, because you said you want to bring the tariffs on China down soon. How soon do you want to bring the tariffs on Chinese goods
Well,
down?
that depends on them. We have a situation where we have a very, very great place. It's called the United States of America, and it's been ripped off for years and years. These people know it. We talked about it before you came in. We've been ripped off by every country in the world practically, and friend and foe. And we're not doing that anymore. So what's happened is Howard, how many countries have we spoken to already? 90. And they all want to make deals, and we're going to make deals, but they're going to be fair deals. They're not going to be rip-off deals. And, we were losing almost $5 billion a year. No country can do that. And now we have it down almost to even, maybe even better than even, because of the tariffs on cars and aluminum and steel. We have tariffs 25% on cars, aluminum, and steel. There's a rush to build new steel plants, a rush to build new aluminum plants, and a biggest rush we've ever seen to build car plants. We have like 11 of them or something, big ones, where you guys maybe work. Maybe you won't want to work, you'll do something else instead of that. But if you like cars, you'd like to work at one of these plants, the biggest plants in the world. 3 of them have left Mexico before construction started, one of them during construction. And they're coming to this country. They're coming back. Don't forget, and we get along great with Mexico, but Mexico took 32% of our car building business. So it's amazing what's happened. Remember this number, anywhere from $3 to $5 billion a day. That's not $1 million, that's $1 billion a day. Nobody can even imagine it. And that's what we were losing. And, hence we have $36 trillion in debt and everything else. And in the end, I think what's going to happen is we're going to have great deals. And by the way, if we don't have a deal with a company or a country, we're going to set the tariff. We just set the tariff. It's something that we think that will happen, I'd say, over the next couple of weeks. What do you say? I think so. Over the next 2-3 weeks. We'll be setting the number.
For
and
China.
We're going to pick, could be for China too, could be for China. Well, we're dealing with almost all of them. Too many to fully deal with, but we're going to be fair to them. But we're dealing with a lot of countries right now, and could be with China, but maybe we'll make a special, a deal, and we'll see what it will be. Right now, it's 145%. That's very high. It got there because of the fentanyl. They're sending, massive amounts of fentanyl into our country and killing a lot of people. Probably 200,000 plus a year, wiping them out. You probably all have friends who were killed. Somebody was killed in your family or your friends with fentanyl, and somehow it's made almost exclusively in China. And as you know, we essentially taxed them 10 and then another 10. We also taxed Mexico 25, and we taxed Canada 25. And that's the kind of money that's what's.
So what is he's saying the tariffs are punishment on China for shipping fentanyl into America? That's what he's saying, essentially, right? Did I get that? That don't make no damn sense.
No, makes perfect sense. When a foreign country is doing ill against you, like literally killing you, you respond by raising the prices of the goods that you purchase from them. That's the way we treat. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, does it? So yeah, he's obsessed with this fentanyl thing. What a garbage line that is. What was the automotive industry? That's rich. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know I'm not wrong about this. That is probably going to change soon. But to this day, it always has been the most automated industry on the planet. So it's got like the least number of actual human workers to the machines, like the ratio, I forget, so more machines per human than any other job right now. So like, what's the opportunity here? I don't really, oh yeah, if you like cars, you could, no, if you like computers or staring at robots building cars, then this job's for you, Timmy. Yikes.
It's not, it doesn't make sense what they're saying. Like you're saying earlier, they're all, well, let's just go to Mars then. Like what the hell are you guys, what are you guys talking about? I'm trying to, I'm scrolling through the Galloway trying to find old, I was going to have this guy on. Maybe I'll get him on the guest that was on. I've been talking to that guy actually. Anyway, keep talking, Ruckus.
Yeah, I was going to say that Barry's also reminding us about close to halftime here too. So
I found it so we can hear from Simon on Galloway. Okay, now let's take our live commercial break. Everybody go to weaponizednews.com. Get yourself some stickers there. You can give me a donation or you can buy them, however you want to sort it out. But hey, you guys in Canada that love the government, your stickers are in the mail, and I do appreciate your support. You know who I'm talking to out there in the audience, you big government lovers up there. And so I did send your stickers out today in the mail, so you should be getting them in, I don't know, 5 weeks. I don't know how long mail takes to get from California, Fresno, California to Ontario, I think it was, where I mailed it. Anyway, should be, I don't know, a week. I sent it standard postage. So anyway, that's in the mail. Be looking for it, and I do truly appreciate your helping me out here, and the support that you can give is much appreciated. And now the live, or this is recorded. So now the recorded, and then we'll come back with Ruckus commercial, and then we'll get on with the rest of the news. Here is a Weaponized News sponsor, Abazaba Enterprises.
Running a small business feeling overwhelmed by numbers and paperwork? Abazaba Enterprises has your back. Our expert business solutions include accounting, QuickBooks support, payroll, taxes, and top-notch consulting. Let us handle the details so you can focus on growing your business. Business Solutions Accounting, QuickBooks, Consulting, Payroll, Taxes. Call 559-577-9250. Call Abazaba Enterprises today at 559-577-9250.
All right, Ruckus, plug away.
Pretty nice. Yeah, go to Weaponized News and buy me a sticker. No, I'm just kidding. But if you want to buy Ruckus a sticker, that's cool. Yeah, go to alternatecurrentradio.com, and that's where you'll find my stuff. That's where you'll find the Daily Ruckus. You'll find my appearances on the Boiler Room, Sunday Wire, and then also posts for my most recent appearance on Weaponized News, all in one convenient place. How fun is that? You'll also see some of my friends and colleagues in their shows like Mystical American Patriot Society and the Odd Man Out podcast, which are both highly recommended by myself as well as my other friends and colleagues who run Alternate Current Radio. And if you are a small business owner, an entrepreneur, or you just have you're a content creator, maybe you want to start a YouTube channel, or you play video games on Twitch and you need a logo or a thumbnail image or a full-blown website because you own a business, hit me up. Send me an email, hit me up on Twitter. You can find me on Twitter at AC_wordslinger. I do that kind of stuff as a full-time gig now. So I call myself the Wordslinger. And if it's related to business, marketing, or creating graphics, websites, SEO, you name it, I do it. Okay. So hit me up. Okay. And I'll have a website and a commercial like Sam does pretty soon. Wow. That's it.
Awesome. Here's alternatecurrentradio.com. There is Ruckus's Twitter handle right there, X handle, excuse me. I'll probably never get used to calling it X, but it is X, and there is his handle. Contact him with your computing needs, as he just said. Okay, thank you guys for sticking with us here, an hour into this Wednesday edition of Weaponized News. What do we got in the second part of the show? That one, I want to get to that one. It's like 17 minutes, but I think it's worth it, about the direct energy weapons. Let's see. Yeah, more about the economy. Trump says, maybe we'll work out a deal with China. Who knows? Basically, he's like, yeah. Boeing CEO says China has stopped taking its aircraft amid trade war. So Now, maybe a good thing, actually, with all the problems that Boeing's been having over the last couple of years. Maybe you want to steer clear. It's almost like Boeings are made in China, huh? Cheap. Always falling apart, doors falling off, wheels falling off, all kind of crazy stuff we've been reported on. The perils of flying Boeing.
It must have something to do with fentanyl.
I'm sure it does. Maybe the workers at Boeing, they're in Seattle, their big plant, are strung out on fentanyl. I wouldn't doubt it. Okay. Seriously, though, White House considers slashing China tariffs to de-escalate trade war, the Wall Street Journal tells us. I don't know. It's like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So, yeah, who knows? It's like a throwaway thing. And then the next second, Trump says, yeah, well, we'll go ahead and 245%. What the hell? It's just like, oh, man. Very unstable. It has to end.
He's a nerd inside. Nobody knows this, but he used to play Dungeons and Dragons, and he's got like those dungeon dice, those funny looking, and he just throws them on the table. He's all 131% tariff for Colombia.
Hey, good work. America sours on Trump's handling of the economy, according to, and you know I don't like polls on this show because I really don't trust them, and I honestly don't have the time to go read the methodology behind it to see how legit it is.
Wait a minute, I'm part Polish. What do you got against polls?
Well,
oh wait, not that kind of poll.
White people are bad, first off. No, where is it? 70%, was it? This is a Reuters poll, and I had the number. Okay, just 37% of respondents to this Reuters poll, to the 6-day poll that concluded Monday, this last Monday, approve. So 37% approve of Trump's handling of the economy, down 42% in their last poll after the inauguration. And so was that a 5% downswing from inauguration day to Monday of this week? On Trump's approval of the economy here now, according to Reuters.
How can they hold him responsible for the economy on day one like that? For the first part of the poll, that doesn't make sense.
Well, I don't know if they hold him responsible. It's his handling of, I guess it was their expectations about how he would do. Okay. Trump offers, this is this insider glad handing that I think is it's more corruption. We saw the same out of the Biden administration, the last Trump administration, and on it goes, with insiders profiteering, and the rest of us are looking for top ramen in the back of the friggin' cabinet. Trump offers private dinner to top 220 investors of his meme coin, Ruckus. That sounds legit, right? According to the New York Slimes here. So that sounds legit, right?
Silly. Such a stupid thing. Like you say, so like you gotta buy like X amount of millions of dollars worth of Trump coin, and then you get to have dinner with the president. That's kind of shady. I don't know. That's weird. I don't think that presidents have done this before. Call me crazy.
It seems like pay for play, pay for influence here to me.
Oh, that's right. Never mind. They did it the other way. They did it through the phone calls with the son of the president. So this is just transparency, Sam. I'm just glad we have transparency.
More direct corruption. It's literally right in your face.
Wait a minute. Hold on. This is a solution to all of our problems. We all just need to get together, invest in a crap ton of Trump coin, and then we can go have dinner with the president and then can change his mind about the aardvark issue. I think this is doable. What do you think?
Maybe if you're the last person to talk to him, and then you may just say, hey, that seems to be what he does is he reads like the first page, maybe first paragraph, maybe, of like big old policy document reports is allegedly reported. And then like the last thing that whoever was talking to him about, he just goes with. So it's like, maybe we could slip in there and slip some peace into his ear and he'll go with that. Who knows? It's wild, but $ Trump meme coin. I think he is the first president to have a meme coin. What a time to be alive here. $1 trillion $1 trillion, according to the Wall Street Journal here, of wealth was created for 19 richest U.S. households last year. Well, hooty-doo-dah for them. It took 4 decades for the top 0.00001% of Americans' share of the total U.S. household wealth to grow from 0.1% in 1982, when 11 households made up the rarefied group of 1.2% in 2023, according to economists at Berkeley and the Paris School of Economics. And again, this is published in the Wall Street Journal. Well, isn't that good for them? And as Karen reminds me, we're too poor to even afford top ramen soup. So it is. Here's a graph that shows us the wealth disparity here in America. And honestly, if they made it honestly and it wasn't through insider deals and all this glad-handed monopolistic business practices, I would have no problem with it. But I just have a feeling, well, I know they didn't earn it honestly is the problem here now. And so this is the true privilege, the 1%. When lefties used to know that during Occupy Wall Street, we drifted so far away from that idea since then that it's blame you and me for the color of our skin. I'm just as poor as as every other poor black, brown, whatever freaking you are here in America. We're of the same economic class. And so here's a little graph about I think that's one thing that Occupy Wall Street had right, is it's the 1% against the 99%. And you could see right there, the wealth disparity is growing rapidly. Total U.S. households wealth stood at about $148 trillion at the end of 2024. See, wealth at the top 0.00001%. That's probably what it about is. Not the 1%, but the 0.00001%. And then there's all the rest of us. What do you think about that, Ruckus?
Yay.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
they
that's
just
depressing.
keep getting richer, huh?
Yep. The rich just keep getting richer, and the poor, well, screw the poor.
Indeed. I think, well, what do we got? Let me get through this quickly. Is Musk going to leave DOGE? I reported on this a little bit yesterday. Tesla CEO says, according to CNBC, says time he spends on DOGE will significantly drop next month. So it looks like he's going to have to go to his actual job, allegedly being CEO of Tesla and these other companies, because Tesla is taking a beating right now in the finances for sure. And
I guess he's going to have to go back to playing his own video games again.
There you go. Okay, what else do we got before we get to quickly? I got to move quick. Sorry. Clean energy company says its tech could eliminate smokestacks on coal plants, so you won't have to see that dirty coal smoke coming out of the.
No, I studied science in high school, college. What happened to the law of concert? It's got to go somewhere. You can't just make smoke poof disappear like that. What's going on here?
The smokestacks towering above. They write it like. Let me just get to the facts, man. This company, Beauchamp, said that's the who is he? He's the president and chief development officer with 8 Rivers, a coal power plant in Durham, North Carolina. He said his company is developing technology that uses pure oxygen to burn hydrogen and carbon monoxide generated from coal, and this process creates a stream of pure carbon dioxide. This CO2 is then recirculated throughout a new type of turbine that will not need smokestacks to release the emissions.
We're just going to release CO2 straight into the atmosphere. Like, I thought that was a problem.
Not anymore.
I mean, that's great news for all the trees and the plants who have been starved of that recently because of politicians and the wokeness. Ridiculous. That's crazy. I'm going to have to look into that. Sounds fascinating.
Yeah, I don't know if they could really do it, but that's what they're claiming. Here's the story. Clean energy company says its tech could eliminate smokestacks on coal plants. I don't know.
Bad news for all the smokestack makers of the world. They're now out of a job, too.
Just when you thought you were going to get some sun there in the sunny UK, well, you're not. Experiments to dim the sun, now they're just openly admitting it. Experiments to dim the sun will be approved within weeks. Scientists consider brightening clouds to reflect sunshine, amongst other ways to prevent runaway climate change. Now, mainstream UK Telegraph. Here is the story for you, all you chemtrail conspiracy people out there. Experiments to dim the sun to fight global warming will be given the green light by the government within weeks. Outdoor field trials, which could include injecting aerosols into the atmosphere or brightening clouds to reflect sunshine, are being considered by scientists as a way to prevent runaway climate change. They're already doing it and have been for many years, but now it's all mainstream here, official. So I guess the UK Telegraph are now conspiracy theorists, Ruckus.
I saw this movie. Wasn't it Highlander 2? Was it part 2 or was it part 3 where the guy was in the future and he had done something with the atmosphere, but he messed it up? Yep.
We're there. We're living in all these dystopic sci-fi movies. We're literally living through
True. This is true.
They talk also all your favorite stuff, the cloud seeding, manipulating the weather to
it's called terraforming, I believe.
It is. We're living in a dystopic sci-fi movie here, and now it's
just making the climate a little more tolerable for our reptilian overlords. That's all.
They talk about the cloud seeding here. Yeah, so it's mainstream now, I guess. What do they say? Indoor tests, climate monitoring, engaging public attitudes toward geoengineering. Well, I got to tell you, those are not too much happy about it, but they don't seem to care because they're saving us from global warming or climate change or extreme weather or hail or whatever.
Just save us from something. Just save us.
Save us from something.
We don't care what it is.
Block out the sun. I'm getting sunburned. Where's the sunscreen lobby? You know what I mean? Where are they at? Why are they not pushing back against this?
Let's front run the elites before they do this because they're headed this way. Let's just start a campaign now that convinces people that oxygen is unhealthy, it's dangerous, and you should hold your breath for as long as you can every day until it's not a problem anymore. Yeah.
I think zinc, that was what they used to use back in the day. You look kind of goofy, but you have that white on your nose. You go out in the sun. It's like zinc. It's like non-toxic. It works, even though you look kind of goofy with the white on your nose or whatever. So where's the zinc lobby? Where's the sunscreen lobby pushing back against this? They're taking their job away by blocking out the sun. Okay.
I think it's too expensive because it's imported from China.
That makes sense. What does he say? Well, maybe you will. I don't know. You're being too hard there, Barry, on Jim Lee. He never said that there's not aerosol spraying going on. He just said he doesn't believe it's the large majority that we're seeing. See the difference there? Okay.
It's probably just black box technology, just an excuse to throw money into something.
But it's now mainstream there, UK Telegraph. Okay. What do you say? There's a half-naked troller over on Facebook. I don't need to see a half-naked troller on Facebook. Okay. RFK Jr.'s autism registry plan sparks backlash. Is this going to be a national medical database guised under trying to get to the bottom of autism? What do you think of this? I'm sure.
Well, I mean, it worked so well for theirs, didn't it?
All these systems tend to be abused, and yeah. But now, again, as we continue to report, we're now at 1 in 31 children have been identified with autism on the autism spectrum disorder spectrum, according to the CDC. So that's pretty bad. 1 in 31.
Maybe I've been thinking about this. This is a hot take, okay? I haven't been thinking too long about this, I'll admit. But the autism thing, what if like that's how we all were back in the day? Because for the when you study history, there was such a giant distinction between the classes, not based on their wealth, but based on their intelligence. And you have the priest classes, which were able to exert a vast amount of control on a society just because they were able to interpret the signs of the heavens, and they knew when the eclipses were coming. And so they scared all of the natives, the Indians or whatever at the time, into thinking, oh, the sun god, the demon god is eating this. We must sacrifice babies. You must do all of these things to appease the gods. And like, what is it about human beings that why we're just a small handful of people, the smart ones, and everyone else was just a bunch of duh? Maybe everybody was autistic. Maybe everybody was on a different level, and maybe there was only a small handful of folks that were the intellectual type that we're all, privileged to be. In general, I believe everybody has the capability to be smart and intelligent, but like, not unless the opportunity is given to you. You see what I mean? I don't know. Because I think everyone has a certain talent, but then now we see that through genetic, there's people who just don't think the same way as other people. I'm not saying that they're dumb or anything. They think differently. And they might be, if everybody was on the spectrum, don't you think it'd be a lot easier for the likes of somebody like Howard Lutnick and the Trumps and the Elon Musk people? Okay, Elon Musk, bad example. He's already on the spectrum. He's only doing okay because he put a brain chip inside his own head as a guinea pig. But you see what I'm saying? I think the population is probably more malleable, easier to control. Like, oh, that's okay, sweetie. We're here to help you. We'll tell you. Oh, okay, thank you very much. I've been around autistic people. They're very nice and trusting people, and but they don't sit around thinking about some of the things that these other quote unquote smart people who like to rule the world do. So I don't know. Just an interesting theory I have.
You're definitely easier to rule over if you have autism. I would agree. But people are
going back to the way we were used to be. I don't know.
Possibly. People are concerned about creating this federal database of health records, is what the pushback here is. So we're going to have to see how this sorts out, if we could ever get to the bottom of it. How about this? Single psychedelic use shows cognitive boost lasting weeks. This study claims. So I don't know if you take a hit of LSD or magic mushrooms, it's going to give you that cognitive boost you've been looking for. I don't know. I don't know about that, but that's what the study here is claiming.
I call baloney on this one, because right around the same time that I started trying that stuff while I was in college, not long afterwards, I dropped out.
We'll see. Maybe it opened your mind to the point you said, I don't need this anymore.
You know what? That's a darn good point, because I did realize that actually while I was attending school. Yeah. I realized, this is a giant scam.
A single dose of psychedelic compound could be key to helping your brain become more adaptable for weeks. University of Michigan researchers have discovered that mice given just a single dose of a serotonin activating psychedelic showed remarkable improvements in mental flexibility 2 to 3 weeks later, potentially revolutionizing how we might someday treat conditions like depression, PTSD, and even Alzheimer's disease. I don't know.
Whatever it is that they analyze as far as data is concerned about what makes a mouse smarter than any other mice, whatever the heck that is, I don't know. A and B, it certainly does not correlate to human intelligence by any stretch of the imagination. Science, yeah, baloney.
Science. Trust the science, there, Ruckus.
I trust the science fiction now.
They want you on psychedelics so you're tripping out and not focusing on the corruption of the government. Okay.
Always trust corruption. You're a safer bet.
Okay, this is a long one. We'll see how long we can go. It's 17 minutes, but this is the Direct Energy Weapon Report by Catherine Heritage. How do you pronounce her name? Heritage.
She's the one that they fired and locked her out of her office and stole her computer equipment. She used to work for CBS. You remember that a year or two ago?
Emmy-winning investigative journalist telling the stories. Yeah, let's hear her. She's now on her own and reporting about the direct energy weapons. Apparently, it's the United States, Russia, and China that we're in a direct energy weapon war. And of course, our own government is in a war against us. Let's watch this report. Very concerning. And I do believe, as I said at the beginning, that the U.S. government is using direct energy weapons against its own citizens.
Are directed energy weapons real?
Without doubt.
Have directed energy weapons been used against U.S. government personnel?
Absolutely. These are weapons of maximum disruption.
Mike, you did counterintelligence work for the U.S. government. You dealt with highly classified information.
We walked in on an operation that the hostile country was doing.
So you were attacked by a hostile intelligence service.
Right.
It fundamentally disrupts the brain network.
Yes, ma'am.
And can cause brain cell death.
Yes, ma'am.
We'd applied for workers' compensation. The agencies involved did everything they could to not approve my application.
You were denied 3 times for workman's comp.
Right. All these people being injured, and you're just saying, no, it didn't really happen.
I have a letter here from one of the country's leading Parkinson's experts. I can state that Mr. Beck has a much more clearly documented exposure to a microwave weapon than those patients described in either the literature or the media. Mr. Beck clearly merits the recognition that his Parkinson's disease and its associated symptoms are due to his government service. Mike, do you think it's a government cover-up?
Yes.
Based on your firsthand research, are directed energy weapons real?
Without doubt.
Have directed energy weapons been used against U.S. government personnel?
Absolutely.
Have directed energy weapons been used at targets overseas?
Yes, ma'am.
Are reports of directed energy weapon attacks inside the U.S. credible?
Absolutely.
A longtime advisor to the U.S. military, James Giordano is the director of the Center for Disruptive Technology and Future Warfare at the National Defense University. Giordano shared his expertise with the caveat he does not speak for the U.S. government.
These are weapons of maximum disruption. It allows you to get in fast, hit hard, get out, and then, and only then, will the effects begin to be known.
In 2016, when almost 24 government employees became ill in Cuba at the U.S. Embassy, Giordano was brought in as a lead consulting neuroscientist. The U.S. diplomat's debilitating brain injuries became known as Havana syndrome, or anomalous health incidents.
How many types of directed energy weapons exist that have been used against U.S. government personnel?
To my experience and from my analysis, essentially 3. So we're looking at 2 forms of sonic weapon. They both use sound and the expansions and contractions of a sound wave as the mechanism by which it's going to disrupt function and structure of various tissues, but they do so differently. And the third was something that was really something of a revelation, and this is the use of scalable and directable microwaves.
With nearly 2,000 reported attacks in more than a dozen countries, our team hit the road to investigate validated Havana syndrome cases. We traveled to Maryland and this assisted living facility to visit retired counterintelligence officer Mike Beck. Medical records we exclusively obtained link a microwave weapon to Beck's clearly documented brain injury. Beck moved here last August after his condition worsened, and his wife of 40 years could no longer care for him at home.
It's devastating. We had a bucket list for when we retired, and being together was on it, not living apart.
Mike, was it a hard decision for you to leave your family home and move into assisted living at, what, 63?
It was hard. It was depressing. But I understood the situation I was in.
Help people understand what they're seeing and hearing from your husband.
So it has been a slow deterioration over time, and he's gradually losing his train of thought. He forgets what the next word is, so he'll get stuck, and he'll stop because his brain isn't processing fast enough.
An incredibly sharp and capable counterintelligence officer, much of Beck's 33 years of government service remain classified. Beck's progressive brain injury has left him physically and mentally debilitated. We took multiple breaks during our interview.
Mike, you did counterintelligence work for the U.S. government. You dealt with highly classified information above top secret special access programs. Does your government intelligence work remain highly classified to this day?
Yes. Yes, it is.
A year after this home video was shot of his daughter's christening in 1995, Beck describes a directed energy weapon attack that hit him and his partner while on assignment for the U.S. government. The location remains secret.
We traveled to a hostile country, and we found some pieces of gear that we only heard about. We walked in on an operation that the hostile country was doing.
So you were attacked by a hostile intelligence service after you made a major find about their capabilities that they were going to use against the United States.
Right.
This 2014 national security memo linked the hostile country where Beck says he was attacked to a high-powered microwave system weapon. But the Becks are still fighting for recognition.
If this memo is not enough evidence that your husband was hit by a directed energy weapon, what else does the U.S. government need?
They basically wanted the hostile country to say, yes, we hit Mike Beck on this date, this time, in this place.
Why do you think the U.S. government is setting the bar so high?
I think they just wanted to protect their reputation instead of protecting their employees.
Giordano showed us how brain injuries like Beck's can happen. Hollow spaces in the skull, the mouth, nose, ears, and eye sockets can become echo chambers, funneling energy waves into the brain with catastrophic consequences.
I think the easiest way for a layperson to understand what particularly rapidly pulsed microwaves could do is to think about something like Wi-Fi connections in a cellular phone. So if you were to take your phone and put it in the microwave oven for a second or 2 seconds, you would take the phone out and structurally it would look fine. It would seem that it would be working just fine for you on some levels. But the actual sophistication of that phone would have been changed as a consequence of the microwave damage. And not only will it change then, but that change is durable and characteristically progressive.
That's what a directed energy weapon attack does.
Yes, ma'am.
It fundamentally disrupts the brain network
Yes, ma'am.
and can cause brain cell death.
Yes, ma'am. It can cause both brain cell death and change in the functional ability of various cells and nodes in the brain to be able to maintain the networks that are so vital to our thought, our emotions, and our behaviors.
When a directed energy weapon attack happens, is that the end of the damage?
The problem with directed energy attacks, like many things that can happen to the brain, is that the initial insult, the injury itself, is nothing more than the first snowball that then leads to the avalanche. The injury to the brain impairs the brain's ability to not only function at the time of the injury and thereafter, but to compensate effectively. So then you begin to see a cascade of effects.
Who or what is responsible?
This becomes difficult. But I think what's important to note is who has developed these technologies and who may be using them in a whole set of practices. Here we encounter, if you will, the big three: the United States and some of its international economic and technological and military allies, our trans-Pacific peer competitor, China, who has developed these types of technologies for a variety of uses, and certainly our transatlantic peer competitor, Russia.
These British medical records show in 2006, Beck was diagnosed with Parkinsonism. That's an umbrella term that refers to brain conditions that cause slowed movement and stiffness.
What made Mike's Parkinson's case stand out?
Well, it's very unusual because he was a young onset. He was only 45. It's usually 70s, 60s, late 60s to be diagnosed.
Did he have any of the typical signs of Parkinson's?
No. His first sign that I noticed was his anxiety. He never had the tremor. He still doesn't have a tremor.
So you've had a Parkinson's diagnosis and then more recently a diagnosis of dementia.
Yeah.
Is that a secondary consequence of the Parkinson's?
Yes.
Are you frustrated? Are you looking for the words?
Yes, it's very frustrating. I always wanted to have my A game on for work assignments. Until I got hurt, I had a lot of success in the workplace. The one thing I can say about work is I love my job.
I can see a lot of sadness in your eyes.
It was a great career. I was blessed to have such a good job. Work with good people.
Cases like Beck's impact diplomats, military operatives, law enforcement professionals, and America's spies.
I was an employee of the Central Intelligence Agency for 19 years.
In December, a CIA whistleblower we agreed to call Alice to protect her identity came forward for the first time. Alice described the fallout of a directed energy weapon attack targeting her in Africa.
And we're basically like ticking time bombs, Catherine. You know, I've already started having to go to funerals. I have friends in nursing homes. I have friends with dementia and Parkinson's. In some ways, you know, people have a heart attack, and if you don't die of it, we know how to fix a heart attack. We don't know how to fix this.
Like the CIA whistleblower, the Labor Department acknowledges Beck's traumatic brain injury is the result of his government service. In Beck's case, the Labor Department only acknowledged his Parkinson's diagnosis after a high-profile intervention.
I have a letter here from one of the country's leading Parkinson's experts. He writes, "Although I have limited expertise in so-called Havana syndrome, I can state that Mr. Beck has a much more clearly documented exposure to a microwave weapon, as well as a much more clearly documented brain injury than those patients described in either the literature or the media. Mr. Beck clearly merits the recognition that his Parkinson's disease and its associated symptoms are due to his government service."
We'd applied for workers' compensation, and the agencies involved did everything they could to not approve my application.
You were denied 3 times for workman's comp.
Right.
Did you finally get workman's comp?
The benefit we received was they will pay for Mike's assisted living.
You shared one of the bills for the assisted living with our team, and it says there's a balance due of over $25,000. Is the government paying Mike's assisted living on time?
No.
No?
No.
How many months behind is the U.S. government on its payments for Mike's assisted living?
3 months behind.
Does that just create more anxiety?
It does. It's scary. I mean, I don't know how long, you know, when am I going to get the call that says, you're going to have to pay this because we still haven't gotten a check? And it'd be devastating because, you know, we're not living on a whole ton of money.
I have this intelligence community assessment from January. It was released by the Biden administration. It says most of the intelligence community continues to assess that it's very unlikely a foreign adversary is responsible for the events reported as Havana syndrome or anomalous health incidents.
It's ridiculous. I mean, all these people being injured, and you're just saying, no, it didn't really happen. I mean, how do you make this up?
Mike, do you think it's a government cover-up?
Yes.
Is the U.S. government trying to limit the identification of cases and compensation?
That sounds reasonable.
Is that what you think?
I think it's problematic that there's evidence that the U.S. government has regarding the availability and use of the weapons, and that hasn't been brought to light.
Were you left behind by the U.S. government?
Most definitely.
There's a narrative that directed energy weapon attacks didn't really begin until 2016. Is that a false narrative?
It is. It is. I think part of the problem is that the cases prior to then were far more insular cases, and they occurred in particular circumstances that did not warrant broad public dissemination. In other words, characteristically, it was some aspect of that case that was classified.
The Trump administration is more openly addressing Havana syndrome. In February, we sat down with Secretary of State Marco Rubio.
But I think there are most definitely cases where there is no logical explanation other than the fact that some external mechanism caused them to suffer brain injuries that in many cases look like they were hit over the head with a baseball bat or assaulted somewhere. We can't ignore that. And in the meantime, what we have to ensure is that whether they were State Department personnel or working for some other agency, that those people are getting the treatment and the support that they need.
Has there been a sea change within the U.S. government about directed energy weapon attacks?
But it's been perceptible to me and from many of my colleagues that at this point there's really much more of a lean in to this, recognizing A, the reality of the actual devices, B, the reality of the individuals who suffered an injury, and C, the need to do something about it.
Mike, what are you fighting for?
Equity for our family.
What are you asking President Trump to do?
Clean up the mess that's been made with all these inaccuracies.
Rita, what are you asking President Trump to do?
I think he needs to show that we care about Americans first, and that other countries, even if you don't name them, don't have the right to harm our people, and it should stop.
Are you back there with us, Ruckus? No audio. Ruckus had audio issues. I see the chat had a lot of different opinions about that report. I think it's significant because they put it out there. Hey, the State Department, Marco Rubio, is acknowledging such things. The chat, yeah, very varied opinions on it. Okay, let's play now. If I can get to the right spot. Let's see if Ruckus is back here with us. Are you back here with us now? No? All right. In the meantime, while you try to reconnect, I'm going to play Simon on George Galloway's Moat Show today.
Today, Simon, I mean, you'd have to have a heart of stone not to laugh at what happened in London today. Am I right?
Indeed. And greetings to you, Mr. Galloway, and to your worldwide audience. Well, in all seriousness, Sir Humphrey of Yes Minister fame, just 30 minutes ago, put out a press announcement from the peace talks, and this is a direct quote, not made up, as funny as it sounds, saying that significant progress has been made on reaching a common position towards the next steps. So I think we can all take from that
please.
as much joy as we wish you, sir.
Absolutely. Now, what happened? The Americans pulled out, but why did the Germans and the French pull out?
Because none of them wanted to be the handmaiden of failure. We only like to seize all the credit for success, of course. And it had been known that Zelensky was most determined not to literally recognize, I say that in a legal sense, the Russian ownership of Crimea. And that was obviously going to be a massive stumbling block. In fact, indeed, it was 0.1 of the elite peace Trump plan, as exposed by the Daily Telegraph, who you may rely or not rely upon. And so right from the get-go, if they were going to start working down the agenda of the points that one was hoping they would agree upon on Friday after the US-Ukraine Minimal Agreement version 2.0 was due to be signed, it seems that indeed nothing has been pulled out of the top hat, no rabbit, no squirrel, and nothing resembling either of the previous two, despite it being Easter. And so that's why most of the great and the good, apart from the Ukrainian Presidential Office Chief of Staff, their defense minister and their foreign minister, had to sit down with a few lowly bureaucrats and General Kellogg, who was doing his usual flip-flopping between the hard man and the man delivering the bad news to the Ukrainians. But meanwhile, as your previous callers revealed, we've had Zelensky going on a pre-G20 begging trip to South Africa. You know you're desperate when you're begging the South Africans, who are having even more trouble than Ukraine keeping the lights on. But they seems that the rest of the world is not paying much attention to Ukraine. We've had the Iranian foreign minister, fresh back from his visit to Moscow, now on a trip expressly at the invitation of the Chinese, who then described him as their top counterpart in the Middle East, which must have come as a bit of a surprise to the Saudis. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to meet with President Xi because President Xi was finalizing a comprehensive strategic partnership with the president of Azerbaijan. And people may say, well, what the heck that got to do with anything? Well, it should be seen that Azerbaijan is supposed to be part of the Organization of Turkic States, whose stated goal by 2040 is to form a one-nation alliance from Turkey all the way potentially to Mongolia. But in this case, the president of Azerbaijan took what I euphemistically call the Pakistan Pledge, which was expressing allegiance not only continuing to do so to the Belt and Road Initiative, but also praising greatly the other three Chinese global initiatives, those on security, development, and civilization. So there are lots and lots of other developments going on across the world. And as I have said previously, Ukraine is increasingly resembling a skirmish on the edge of empire.
Yeah, and you can follow all on Weaponized News, and you really, really should. Thank you, Simon.
Awesome update there from Simon on George Galloway Moat Show. Thank you for representing us still out there on the interwebs, Simon. And thank you for plugging us, Mr. Galloway. Yeah, Ruckus had to go. His audio equipment stopped working. He says, sorry, y'all. My audio equipment is just not working all of a sudden. Probably a directed energy weapon. Damn. I hope not. That's two people, though, now in the week. We had Raven Kiefer on Monday that he couldn't get his audio equipment or connection to the stream working. And then now Ruckus today. I don't know what the hell's going on here. I don't know. But lot of bugs and all this stuff. I'm telling you, man. Anyway, hopefully we can have Ruckus back again soon, next week, hopefully. We miss you, Ruckus, if you're watching. Sorry. We missed you there. Okay. Where do we go from here? We go to the 7-point peace plan by Trump between Ukraine and Russia. The 7 points are an immediate ceasefire reportedly accepted in principle by Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, a ban on Ukraine seeking NATO membership, though it can still pursue EU membership with possible European peacekeeping forces, recognition of Russian sovereignty over Crimea, which, raises legal concerns under international law, transfer of Zaporizhzhia nuclear power station to American control. That's the last thing we freaking need, honestly. With Ukraine ready to partner on restoration. That's the one they're always saying that Russia attacked. And I think it came out a few times that indeed Ukraine had attacked their own and blaming it on Russia. Whatever, man. We put it under American control. Then whoever attacks it, then we're roped into another freaking war, man. We don't need it. Continuing here, a minerals deal giving U.S. companies access to Ukrainian resources. Trump really wants the rare earth minerals there, as we've been discussing. Potential lifting of U.S. sanctions on Russia to foster a new energy policy collaboration. Trump has Putin's brain chip implanted via Elon Musk. Orange Man bad, Putin bad. YouTube, okay, but good on X, and I don't know how we should feel on Facebook. They're bad and good at the same time. And finally, allowing Russia to retain most seized territory, which required withdrawals from specific areas like the Dnieper River mouth and Kherson province. So that's the 7-point peace plan by Trump. Can we get both sides to agree on it? I don't know. Trump's saying now that, of course he would because he's a Russian, right? But he's saying now that Zelensky is harder to deal with than expected. Because remember, we were promised you elect Trump and the war there will be over in 24 hours. That's what he campaigned on. We're 90 plus days in to this administration. And, well, I guess they're at least at the negotiating table. So there is some progress there. But what is to happen? What's to come of Zelensky if there is a peace deal? What do we need him for? What does Ukraine need him for anymore? I don't know. Is he going to flee with his ill-gotten gains? Is he going to stay there like a true leader and man of the people and help facilitate BlackRock's rebuilding of Ukraine? I don't know. A lot to sort out with old Zelensky. Trump is reportedly frustrated over stalled peace talks, telling aides the negotiations are harder than expected, and blaming Zelensky for not accepting the latest U.S. proposal. So, yeah. And Trump did put out a big, I'm not even going to read the whole thing, but here it is. I'll read some of it. Ukraine President Vladimir Zelensky is boasting on the front page of the Wall Street Journal that Ukraine will not legally recognize the occupation of Crimea. There's nothing to talk about here. This statement is very harmful to peace negotiations with Russia in that Crimea was lost years ago under the auspices of Barack Hussein Obama, otherwise known as Barry Soetoro, is not even a point of discussion. Nobody is asking Zelensky to recognize Crimea as Russian territory, but if he wants Crimea, why didn't they fight for it 11 years ago when it was handed over to Russia without a shot being fired? And so I guess Zelensky's now making Crimea the big point of contention here. We'll see. We'll see. A couple of clips. I pretty much read you the report. Where we're at with it is what is being publicly reported here now. Let's pray for peace there, man. Okay. There was a lot of earthquakes. It's being reported 47 earthquakes strike Istanbul in 3 hours. This report, I guess there's more in between the 47, and now it's the latest report, 51 aftershocks follow a powerful 6.2 magnitude earthquake in Istanbul. That happened earlier today. And I'm not seeing any, honestly, I just had 2 reports about it, but I'm not seeing many reports. There's a little bit of damage, but no reports of deaths or injuries yet. So maybe it was an aardvark earthquake weapon. Okay, this makes me want to throw up. It makes me hate these conservatives in the mainstream media. This guy, Guy Benson, where's he from? Town Hall, right? Look at this post. And they're all the same, basically. Neocon, warmonger, Christian Zionist scum. He says, this post, there's no more Rafah, right? There is none because they carpet bombed it into rubble, as you could see here. But this great conservative, Guy Benson, and they're all about the same attitude. He says Hamas could have never murdered 12,000 people and taken hundreds of hostages. They could have since released the hostages, surrendered, and disavowed future aardvark killing, but they did, and they haven't. This is all on them. Really? They're manning the aardvark bombers and pushing the button? I don't think so. You know what I mean? And this is all BS too. It was a total stand down at the very least, planned, known about, planned with aardvark and other Western intelligence agencies, a stand down. They carried out the Hannibal doctrine, and on it goes, exposing this lie right here. And so Guy Benson is full of shit, just like all these other conservatives on this matter. And it's truly disgusting to go ahead and sign off and say this is okay. It was Hamas. Bullshit. But that's what America gets from these clown conservatives. Fox News Town Hall. What else would we expect? But they're all about the same. Full of shit. And we've exposed the whole thing from the beginning here at Weaponized News. Okay, what do we do when they put sharks on the terror watch list? Because that's probably coming next, right? Swimmers remains found after shark attack in waters off of Aardvark Mediterranean coast. And so we found out who the victim was, and turns out here he is. This fellow here, rest his soul, attacked by a terrorist shark working for Hamas, obviously, funded by Iran, of course. The aardvark who was eaten by a shark near Hadara has been identified as Barak Tazak, a long-serving IDF soldier in the North Nahal Brigade, one of the units that is currently active in Gaza. I don't know. You tell me. Is that the universe, God? I don't know. You tell me. Just just a coincidence? I don't know, but pretty striking that the shark attacked him and killed him, right? I mean, pretty striking indeed. And I'm not even joking. They may indeed start hunting sharks and say that sharks are working for Iran. I wouldn't doubt it. They're complete and utter maniacs here now, aren't they? So in between this, there is video, but it just shows like a shark fin sticking out of the water. You know what I mean? So, do we want? Yeah, let's hear this. Let's hear this AP report about it. It's only a minute long.
A swimmer in Israel has apparently been attacked by a shark off of the country's Mediterranean coast. Police have been scouring the site for traces of the man, who went missing in an area where large numbers of sharks tend to gather over the winter months. That's because there's a power plant there that sends warm water into the sea. While swimming isn't allowed in this particular stretch of beach, swimmers, snorkelers, kayakers, and other boaters enter the waters regularly. And what we've seen over recent days is crowds of people swimming with these dusky and sandbar sharks in the sea. People have been swimming with them, they've been tugging at their tails, some have been feeding them. Shark attacks are very rare in Israel. This would be the third recorded time that such an attack has happened. Still, environmental groups say that Israeli authorities must do more to separate humans from this marine predator.
So is that Aardvark's fault that the shark attacked the guy? By Guy Benson's reasoning, yeah, right. I can't believe that you would sign off on this publicly. You know what I mean? But these, it's truly disgusting. Yeah, we needed more sharks around the USS Liberty. Indeed. I was seeing videos. I don't know. Just I guess they're alleging that the feds are now raiding the homes of some of the alleged leaders of the college protests last fall. The pro-Hamas, as they love to say. They never say anti-war, right? Or anti-genocide protests. They always say, "Oh, they're pro-Hamas." Really? Anyway, it looks like the feds are raiding a bunch of these people. So there you go. You had the left-wingers go after the J6ers, the worst attack in the history of the world besides October 7th, on our capital, where they did the insurrection, right, where they were literally led in and provocateured by said federal government. So you had the left-wing Democrat government go after all of them. Now you got the right-wing Republican government going after all of these college protesters. So again, pick your left or right wing of tyranny, and it's still the government, and they're tyrannical, regardless of how you feel about it politically. Rubio says Iran can have civilian nuclear program if it gives up enrichment. So I'm glad that we feel the need here in America to dictate to foreign sovereign countries what their nuclear policy should be, because everybody knows Iran's going to have a nuclear weapon in 2 weeks, right? Didn't Lindsey Graham say they already have 6? Why haven't they used them yet? We must attack now, right? Because they already have 6 nukes. Well, they should use them then, right? But they don't. And here we are, dictating to foreign sovereign countries what their energy policy should be, as is the nature of America and oil and the petrodollar and so on. I guess this is good. And it's good. Well, it is good that we haven't seen a full-scale preemptive strike by aardvarks backed up by America, as it seemed to be all the military equipment, the military was positioning for such a strike. There was reports of all these flights importing arms. The two aircraft, U.S. aircraft carriers, right in that region. There was reports of a bunch of bombers on, what is it, Diego Garcia, American Air Force Base over there, where they would strike from, and on and on. So it looked like all the pieces were getting put into place for a major, major, major strike on Iran. But it hasn't happened yet. And let's hope it doesn't happen with Russia extending its security umbrella over Iran, essentially. And in the background, China sitting right there too. You know what I mean? So that would definitely start a regional war and potentially a world war if we were just barely starting to try to negotiate to get out of the Ukraine-Russia war, which is none of our business in the first place, but we had to stick our nose in there, overthrow their government, and made it our business. So we're just trying to wind that down, and then, but hey, don't you worry. We may just kick off one with Iran. Like, just stop already. And while all this is going on, we're bombing the hell out of the Houthis in Yemen 24/7, bragging about it. CENTCOM is, with no congressional anything that I ever saw. Somebody posted a link where Congress said that, oh yeah, it's great that that they signed off on it. I haven't seen anything. What is this? Got a crazy. This is one of your trolls on the Fed book. They say, yeah, they cured their high blood pressure. Well, we're not even talking about. Yeah. So there's a troll on Facebook. What is Barry says? He was watching Transformers movie last night. If you look at the brown hoodie, Sasha Cohen, what's her name? Sasha LaBeouf? Anyway, wears big 33 on it. Several scenes. Almost sent it to you guys. Yeah, they are certainly they do signal us. They do signal us, mocking us, and signaling to their to the initiates and mocking the profane. That's how they get down here now, isn't it? Interesting though. I never noticed that. But once you Shia LaBeouf, there you go. But once you become aware that they're using media, music, movies, videos, all of this to potentially subliminally implant symbology to mind control us and mock us and do rituals and all of the alike, then you'll start seeing it everywhere if you go in there consciously, because the whole thing of a movie is to create suspended disbelief with like these giant robots that transform into jets, trains, planes, and automobiles and all this. It's like unbelievable, right? So you have to suspend your state of belief to believe this sci-fi movie, and then while you do that, to get into it, to not be sitting there critical of everything. Are they throwing up Freemason handshakes and whatnot? Obviously, that's not going to be very entertaining to you with that mindset watching these supposedly entertaining films. But while they're putting you in a state of disbelief, they're subliminally implanting the lesser magic of these secret society rituals to mind control you, you see, and implant all kind of other ideas to social engineer us. So good looking out there, Barry. And if you pay attention and you don't get put in a state of suspended disbelief and you're fully conscious watching, quote, entertainment, you will see this more and more and more and more and more. Okay, what do we got here? We're past the 2-hour mark, I think. Well, we got 2 more clips. Let's play old Tim Pool. I guess it was discovered yesterday that it's not a beanie. It's one of these other hats that aardvarks wear. I don't know. I still think it's a skater beanie. But anyway, Tim Pool and crew believe Suez Canal belongs to aardvarks, but it's actually in Egypt. Huh? I don't know. Let's watch this clip.
I have not heard a good argument as to why Americans should be using their weapons development tax dollars, whatever you want to call it, for Israel's military.
Unless, like, America's worried that if we don't sell it to them, then Russia will.
I think that's our bulwark against holding the Suez. And if Israel wasn't there, we'd have no.
But all the ships
carriers.
literally
That's
right now.
actually really great.
Yeah,
That's
but all
probably
the
best
ships right now are going around the Suez Canal anyways.
because of the Houthis.
Yeah, because of
But
Houthis. They can do it. It's inconvenient.
But this explains a lot, actually. So Trump wants to control the Northwest Passage with Greenland. He just struck a deal on Panama, and this is why he's pro-Israel. They want all of the trade canals to control global trade.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I would say that's the best reason I've heard.
And that's why we have our fingers away from our homeland so that we're not letting anyone near us. So we have this area protected, essentially. If we just let it go and Israel were to fall, and then the Suez is shut down and controlled by
China,
potentially Chinese, Russian, Iranian coalition or whatever.
Yeah.
That might not.
But again, you just have to go around. You just have to go around Africa.
It's not easy to do.
But it's what they're doing right now.
Because of the Houthis.
Because of the Houthis.
So Trump bombs the Houthis.
But
give us back our canal.
But he's bombing, even with bombing the Houthis, like they're still going. Like I saw a graph or whatever image today, and they all are currently just going around.
We got to go to chats over here, but Cam Hegbe was on the show the other day, and he's very pro-Israel. He says he's a raging Zionist, and he was arguing that we should fund Israel's military because they test our weapons or whatever. And I'm like, that's not a good argument, dude. We can test our weapons, and he's like, yeah, but they're not battle tested. And I'm like, okay, I just don't see that as a good argument.
Yeah, that's not a good argument.
The Suez Canal is interesting because losing control of that cedes control to the BRICS nations, and that's going to create a multipolar world.
It's just a big game of risk.
God, yeah, Trump's not going to back down from this, and I think that's exactly why Trump is pro-Israel.
These freaking guys. Oh man. Well, everybody's naked now. All your media influencers, whatever you call them, talk show hosts, everybody's naked. Everybody's taking a position. And so you can clearly see I know our audience knows what's up, but maybe Barry can piss off his girlfriend by telling her about the genocide. No, once you become aware of the mind control program, it's hard not to see. And then it's also hard to enjoy entertainment, and we all have to unplug sometimes, or you will go crazy. You know what I mean? And just sit back and try to be distracted from the reality around us, and not be black-pilled. But I think it is a good idea that we point these things out to friends, family, neighbors, and acquaintances, whoever we're watching this with, these entertainment shows. And point, and just, it's not to ruin it or anything like that. It's just, hey, that, and maybe putting that idea will hurt people. I think it will help you to at least have it in the back of your mind that they are subliminally programming you through fiction, even more so than propaganda on your quote news is through fictional entertainment shows, is where they implant many ideas to social engineer society. All right. We have one more clip. As promised, it's a toss-up. Who is the most villainous, evil man there in Aardvark land between Bibi, Smotrich, and old Bingavir here? I thought these guys retired. I really honestly don't know how Aardvark politics internally work there. Probably even more. It seems like it's pretty complicated. But I guess he retired or resigned from the party, but not from his position. Because I remember reporting on he resigned because they weren't killing enough people. He was mad at the ceasefire. Remember that report? But I think it was just from his party, and they were trying to do some internal political positioning. Is the only thing that makes sense to me. But anyway, he's back. Your friend and mine, Ben-Gvir, famous for trying to provoke the Muslims at the Al-Aqsa Mosque constantly, trying to provoke them into attacking as he desecrates their holy site constantly. And he's known for waving handguns around in public over parking spaces there in Aardvark land. So a very unstable individual, to say the least, the Aardvark National Security Minister, old Ben-Gvir. He endorses collective punishment in this clip. He says, I see the stupid debate in the cabinet, talking about Aardvark cabinet. Humanitarian aid should not be brought into Gaza, period. As long as we have hostages who are not receiving food, Gaza shouldn't either. But we just reported Smotrich said it wasn't even about the hostages, and Bibi said that before that. Anyway, to close it out, here's old Ben-Gvir. This guy would like to start the apocalypse if he could, and then say he's on a mission from God, a true psychopath.
רואה את הוויכוח המטופש בקבינט, מי צריך להכניס הומניטרי, האם חיילי צה"ל, האם חברה חיצונית. זה ויכוח טיפשי. לעזה לא צריך להיכנס סיוע הומניטרי. כל עוד יש לנו חטופים שלא מקבלים אוכל, לא מכניסים לעזה סיוע הומניטרי. רואה את הוויכוח המטופש.
Sorry, no translation there. We have to take the word for it on this post. I believe that's probably true, though. But again, with the collective punishment, it's all their narrative has been debunked. Okay, through hell, go read the Aardvark Times. They admit it. Bibi admitted it wasn't about the hostages. Then he double talks. Oh yeah, it's about the hostages. Smotrich admitted it. They admitted in Aardvark Times when they said they had the ceasefire that as soon as the first phase, quote, phase of it was over and they got some hostages, they were going to keep the war going. There never was a ceasefire. So it continues. And Trump said yesterday he supports it fully, whatever, supports everything. He's on the same, what did he say? Let's pull that up again, because it is pretty shocking that I don't think we've ever had a United States president this openly pro-Aardvark. It's quite disturbing, to say the least. Here it is. Again, Trump may come to regret this, honestly. Probably not, though, because he doesn't have a conscience because he's a psychopath. But yeah, we are on the same side of every issue after a phone call yesterday with Bibi, again, to reiterate this. MAGA, you're signing off on genocide, ethnic cleansing. You know what I mean? You want to sign off on that? You want to keep the 25-year war on terror going? You want to sign off on that bullshit? Because that's exactly what Trump's signing off on. And it's total bullshit. We're killing those people for their resources. Remember, they discovered natural gas, oil right off the coast there. Trump's bragged it'll be the new Riviera there. Beachfront property. You know what I mean? And so they're stealing their land, stealing their resources, and killing them. Using the fake fraud of the war on terror. You gonna sign off on that? It's quite horrific. All right, friends. I appreciate you joining us on this Wednesday edition of Weaponized News. That's all we got for today, as always. Let me go to the channels quickly. We'll pop into the old Odysee there. A few people watching. Thank you guys for tuning in on the Odysee. Who do we got on the Odysee? We got Barry manning all the channels, telling us about half-naked posters on the Fed book. Oh, no, it's Galopsy. Thank you for tuning in there. Unknown. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let's see if we got any. LBJ was pretty Zionist. Yeah. Yeah. Pretty gangster. Say hi to John here, your old Rockfin guy. Hey, John. Thank you for tuning in on Odysee. Sorry we got booted off of Rockfin because we weren't charging. They said they didn't even say this is just, they just put out a broad post on the X and said we suspended the accounts that are not putting up premium content, essentially putting it behind a paywall. I did a few here and there. I would do it, but it's like whatever, dude. But with no forewarning, nothing. You know what I mean? So not just me, but other broadcasters on the Rockfin. But thank you for making the trip over to the Odysee, John. Appreciate your viewership, and thank you everybody for tuning in on the Odysee. And let you guys know, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 3 confirmed and 4 interesting, informative guests coming up in the next couple weeks that I think you guys will enjoy to talk about the scientific dictatorship, technocracy, censorship, social media, what's going on in the media, MAGA, MAHA, these type of issues, deep dives into this type of stuff. So one or two of them are authors. One of them runs a new social media company, Pickaxe. And so we are bringing on the best that I could get. So that's coming up. I'm working hard as your producer to bring you these interesting, informative guests. And we do apologize again for dropping Ruckus off the line. He had some issues there. I hope he can resolve before the next show and before his shows too. So a reminder, everybody, check out Ruckus. I believe he's going to broadcast tomorrow on the Boiler Room. Is that correct, Ruckus? Everybody tune in there. I think it's like, what time is it, Ruckus? Are you still listening? We want Corbett. Okay. I will try, Barry, to get Corbett on. I need to do the work there and some emails, and that is on my list, Barry. So I will try to definitely get James Corbett, the great James Corbett, on the broadcast here. He's over on YouTube right now. Well, maybe, I don't know. Tune in tomorrow. Look up Boiler Room. I think it's after Weaponized News for Ruckus. And again, here's his website. I'll plug it for him. alternatecurrentradio.com. There you go. For all things Ruckus there. And then here is again his X account. Go give him a follow. Give us a follow at Weaponized News. All right. Thank you guys. On the, where are we at? The Bitchute. Again, shout out to Bitchute tech support. They're doing a good job, better than any of these other tech companies. They actually get back to you. And my ratio honestly is the best on Bitchute. I got 475 subscribers, and if you put it in perspective on the ratio, we're getting way more views over there on the Bitchute. So shout out to the Bitchute audience. Even though it is a very small platform, they have stayed true to free speech. And again, their tech support is great as compared to all these other companies that suck. But Bitchute is they're good, man. As far as my experience has been, like I said, my live streams weren't loading up after the show. I email them within a day. They got it fixed. No problems, no questions asked. So good job at Bitchute. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. And thank you for tuning in on the Bitchute audience over there. The old Facebook, thank you guys for tuning in. I don't know about the trolls and the weirdos over there, but everybody else, thank you guys for tuning in on the Facebook. the YouTube. Thank you for tuning in on the YouTube. The Kick, the Twitch, for whatever it's worth, the video gamer platforms there. And X. Thank you guys all for tuning in to this Wednesday edition of Weaponized News. Let's pray for peace, a resolution there in Ukraine-Russia war, and also something. Well, we're not attacking Iran yet, so maybe we can negotiate and not have a major war there. But they are continuing the genocide there, and needs to stop and be denounced and everything else. But hey, the feds may kick your door in for doing such things. We're going to track these stories as they develop, but it does look like the feds are going after the leaders, at least, of last year's college protest against the war in Gaza. Quite concerning indeed. We'll have to follow up on that, reporting tomorrow. As always, everybody do your own research. Peace, love, and liberty. Speak out, and take action. Have a great rest of your Wednesday evening. We'll see you back